New camera, new sound. Anyway, morning. If you'd like to join the conversation, now that we've got a conversation going, I'm assuming that you can hear me now. So camera's there. I've got a new camera. It zooms in automatically, which is annoying. And I'm actually looking at the laptop here so I can see your comments. That's how I knew there was no sound. I'm assuming there's a sound your end. Are we good? Are we good? So yes, I was just saying I haven't been on for ages. Obviously, I've got to take care of other parts of my business, and so unfortunately, this little thing that I like to do, the broadcast and chatting about my book and people's horses and that, is a bit of a luxury. So I had to bob off. However, guess where we are again? Lockdown has happened again. Now let's be positive about this. The end's in sight. Remember, we could be sitting here with a third lockdown with no vaccines and not knowing what's going on. So I can see that it's a race between getting the vaccine out, allowing time to come back to normal, and then trying not to overwhelm the NHS, which is pretty much up to capacity. It's all about flattening the peak. It always was about flattening the peak. Just see my eyes scooting off to the side of the screen there. It's kind of like I've just got to quickly look at the comments, see what's going on. So I don't mean to be rude. I'm just looking out there. So there we are. This is where we're at. It's difficult. It's difficult. People are still hugely in debt, having accrued costs over the year. We could have done without this, but we've got it. But the end is in sight. So we're in lockdown, and I thought I'd resume the Ask Karl G broadcast, see if I can help anybody with their horses, their confidence, interneting their business, although it would be a good idea to internet your business anyway, because there's nothing to say that another virus won't come along, and this has been a good practice. So it's always good to have another string to your bow. So I started interneting my business, which I'm a horse confidence coach, as you probably know, and I changed that from real life people, excuse me, to people through the internet, I'm dying it. Excuse me, talk about yourself. I managed to get in touch with a lot of you and a lot of people who I've managed to help through the power and magic of the internet. I started that about 3 years ago, and I'm jolly glad that I did, because it gave me a platform during this lockdown when I had no customers. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm just going to have a quick look at the comments. I don't mean to look away, but I'm going to look away. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. Marvelous. Sorry about the sound earlier. If you'd like to join the conversation, then click on the link if you've got any questions. That's marvelous, and you can come into the show and ask your questions. So I'm back. It's lockdown. We're going to get through this. It's only 6 weeks. It's a race against overwhelming the NHS, flattening the curve, and getting the vaccines out. However, as horse riders, let's still look forward to this season that's coming is going to happen. So although we've had a bit of a year, and we may have fallen behind, and we may have fallen down in our confidence, then we can do something about that now. So between now and the lockdown, okay, so we've got 6 weeks where things aren't going to be ideal. Maybe you can't get on your horses. Maybe you don't want to get on your horses for fear of falling off and ending up in the NHS, which is overwhelmed, which is absolutely fine. There's still plenty that you can do. I mean, you could have a whole world long reining, teaching your horse how to long rein. That would create a whole new, if you don't long rein already, a whole new set of exercises, make up a little obstacle course. It would create an incredible bond between you and your horse, because you're doing something new, you're learning together. you could spend 6 weeks doing that, and it'd be absolutely marvelous. If you've got eyes towards driving, of course, you could spend that time building up and dragging a tyre around the arena. I mean, there's loads we can do if you're worried about getting on. It's just incredible. So view this 6 weeks, and remember, at the end of 6 weeks, we'll be in mid-February. Now, by mid-February, it's dark around 6:30, 6:45 in the evening. I mean, that's incredible. So we've really got a chance to use this as the most exciting time. In an attempt to help people, of course, I'll be doing my lockdown special offer, all for one, all my hypnosis and such like, all my publications for the price of one, which I did in the previous 2 lockdowns. I never ever thought that I'd be doing it for the 3rd lockdown, but hey ho, there you go. So what I thought I'd just do a little chat, because I was speaking on my Mounted Division group. That's people who've done my 3-month ultimate course. Have got their own little group, and they're absolutely marvelous for coming out with ideas for videos, because we have weekly meetings and we just talk, and some people are beginning the course and are still nervous, and some people are ending the course, so I get a whole range in between. And we were talking about spooky horses, and I was like, I must do a broadcast about Sputnik at Macclesfield, and it's inspired. I haven't told this story, I don't think, but it's about spooky horses and the training of spooky horses. So Sputnik was my first horse. Ali Goddard says it'd help if I turn my sound up. Yeah, that does help as well. There's 2 parts of the story. You've got to turn your sound up. I've got to get my microphone on. So anyway, back in a long time ago, 2003, I think, got my first horse, Sputnik. He had been born on 17th of March, and they'd called him Patrick. And I said, I'm not having a horse called Patrick, so I had a horse called Sputnik, which was nearly the same. And so he got changed to Sputnik. Welsh cob, spooky Welsh cob. Those of you that own spooky Welsh cobs will know what we mean. And I completely did it wrong. Hands up, total confession, I completely did it wrong. So he was to be a show horse. We were doing jousting shows at the time. We were at Warwick Castle, and I had Sputnik. Sputnik wasn't in the shows because he was far too green to everything. But I used to bring him down to the arena and just ride him around, get him used to the equipment, shields, lances, and such like. And a group of walkers were, or maybe it was wedding guests. A group of people, about 60 people, just happened to be walking past, and they saw me in the arena with this horse, and they said, "Oh, that's very nice. What you're doing? Do you work here? Are you part of the jousting team, etc., etc.?" And I said, "Oh, while you're here," can't believe I'm confessing to this. It's totally the wrong thing to do. While you're here, you could help me train this little horse. If you wouldn't mind, just stay there. I'll just come around, and you can just all applaud, and he'll know that he's not going to get hurt by crowds and such like that. Totally the wrong thing to do. So there we are. We went around the arena. They did, and on cue, they all applauded. Of course, the horse just jumped out of its skin. Didn't know what was going on, and it totally put the horse back by a lot. Yeah, it decided that it didn't like groups of people then. So it was years to get over that. As the horse got into shows, it would be all right if the crowd was all the way around the arena, but he really didn't like it if they were grouped in one side. So if we were playing at a castle or something, and obviously the jousting starts and people come out of the castle and they all gather at one end first while we first do the introduction and we're all going round. Of course, then they'd have a problem going to that end. Anyway, I digress. I so shouldn't have done that. What I should have done was, instead of showing the horse this group of people who were going to applaud, I shouldn't probably have had them applaud at all. But if I was going to, what I should have done was just work an exercise that we work in the arena anyway, doing autofocus on the camera. I can see it out of the corner of my eye. Sorry about that, everyone. Can't turn it off. We should have done the figure eights and the circles that we would have done anyway, and the serpentines and the stopping and the reversing and the transitions and everything absolutely normal, completely irrelevant to the fact that there were any people applauding or not applauding. That's the way to get a horse used to the fact that a group of people applauding or any other distraction is not a bunch of lions waiting to jump on you. That's what I should have done. Total opposite to what I did. What I did was brought his attention to the distraction and got him to applaud. Put myself back years. Anyway, are you following this story? Because it's quite instrumental. So then 4 years, just have a quick look at the comments. 4 years, he had a problem with a group of people at a crowd. And for years, I said to people that the horse had a problem with crowds. Anyway, we then got to Macclesfield Show. And Macclesfield Show is right in the town, and it's massive. It's in a small park, and it's an absolutely massive show. They've got absolutely everything there, all crammed into this park. So we got there and we saw the arena, and in the arena on the top corner was the Crazy House, really close to the arena. I mean, you know, the Crazy House with the landings that go forwards and backwards, and the spinning wheels that people fall over in, and the whole house is crazy and moving. And then on the next corner, they had a little roller coaster and a little roundabout with a set of teacups that you sit in. On this side, they had the Crazy Ghost Train, where the doors flap open and the cars come out and the skeletons go scream. On this corner down here, they had the candy floss machine and all its lights and everything going on there. And I can't remember what was on this corner, but something of a similar. It was everywhere, and the crowds were thick. And I thought, oh my God, this horse doesn't like crowds. And I really worried about it. Anyway, I thought, I got up early in the morning and just thought I'd better take him into that arena. But the Crazy House people had already started the Crazy House, and all the guys with the roller coasters and everything else had already started their machines, and it was already going on. I thought, oh God. And I went in, and the horse was possibly the most well-behaved that it had ever been. And I was doing my normal things, going around the arena, doing my serpentines, doing my figure eights, doing my circles. And the horse was absolutely, I'll just do as you say. Don't know why the camera just focused on the little board there. It's supposed to be focusing on my head, but there we go. It decides that's a person to look at. But yeah, so the horse was absolutely super perfect. My anticipation of the day had been that the horse was going to absolutely blow up, turn itself inside out, throw itself on the floor. And since that learning experience, that when the horse doesn't know what to do because it's everywhere, it listens to you, and provided that you don't wig out, and there was a part, I was quite inexperienced then, there was a part of me that wanted to wig out, but provided that you don't wig out and spend your time going, oh, it's going to flip out, it's going to turn itself inside out, provided you stay in the driver's seat and say, do this, do this, do this, the horse will want to be told exactly what to do because it was overwhelmed. Ever since that day, I've never had the same nervousness about a horse spooking as I might have had before that experience. So there we are. There's a little story for you about spooky horses. If you've got any comment, if you've got any observation, please bob it into the comments. Priscilla, hello, good evening, Priscilla. How's Australia? Your horses are already in Australia, yes? Or they're on their way. That's very exciting. So there we are. I just thought I'd share that story with you. As I say, if you weren't there at the beginning, I noticed that Heather says you haven't seen me in a while. Yes, I haven't been doing this in a while. Obviously, times being what they are, I had to pay a bit of attention to other aspects of my business, and this luxury of chatting to you and you know, it's something that I very much like to do. However, as soon as the new lockdowns happened, I thought this is a great opportunity to make use of the time that I'm now going to be forced to have to get broadcasting again. So there we are. I hope you've enjoyed that little story about spooking horses. I hope you've got something from it. It served me absolutely fantastically. It was one of those real changing moments when I realised that a horse that might spook at smaller things isn't necessarily going to turn itself inside out at larger things, provided that you stay on and stay in charge. And I should go on to mention that horse then worked for us impeccably for 8 years until we sold it. And there we are. And I only sold it because it was a really good jumping horse. Absolutely, it wanted to jump. I don't do jumping, so I sold it to a jumping yard. If you've read my book, you'll have seen all the bit about square pegs in square holes and round pegs in round holes. Anyway, I've been waffling enough now. So have a little thing. Any comments that you've got, absolutely marvellous. I will be doing my all for one lockdown special again on my publications and hypnosis. So if you missed that offer the first 2 times, that will be coming up again. I've just got to get and make the sales page so that people can get that. And it's been nice chatting to you. Thanks for listening.